Introduction. The word fasting can be daunting and scary. Nobody wants to put down their delicious meal and spend hours taking in nothing but water and coffee. But to fast is not to starve, to cry, or to be in pain. Rather, it is to heal, to strengthen, to empower, and to enliven by abstaining from food for a specific period of time. You may have heard of the term fasting before, as it is often associated with religious holidays and practices. You may have thought then that fasting is only for the pious, but this is not the case. You picked up this book because you want to know what all the hype about intermittent fasting is. You may have seen the advertisements online and heard word-of-mouth testaments to the wonderful power of intermittent fasting. But seeing is believing, and you want to see and experience intermittent fasting, or IF, for yourself. I have written this book for people like you who want to experience intermittent fasting in a safe and healthy way. That's why in this book, I will teach you the secrets that men and women alike use to accelerate weight loss, increase their energy levels, and slow down aging. Not only that, I will also bring you the secrets of autophagy and guide you on how to fast intermittently on the keto diet. Finally, I will teach you some meal plan hacks that will enable you to greatly enjoy your intermittent fasting journey and to enjoy food on your way to weight loss and better health. If you have tried other ways of losing weight, falling for the false promises, only to become disillusioned, give up, and then start all over again, then I bring you hope. Using all the hacks, facts, and advice in this book, you can finally lift yourself out of the weight loss cycle and finally lose weight and see results. So, if you are ready for all the wonderful benefits that intermittent fasting will bring you, let's begin. Chapter 1. Understanding Intermittent Fasting. Intermittent fasting, IF, is the practice of fasting for periods of time after which you break your fast by eating during a specific window of time known as an eating window. For instance, you may have fast for 16 hours and then break your fast afterward, eating during the next 8 hours. The length of time during which you fast and eat varies, and you can choose the option that is best for you based on what results you want to achieve, discussed in Chapter 2. In general, when you practice IF, you will separate your day or your week into eating and fasting sections of time, which will repeat either every day or every week. With this type of fasting, you are able to ingest liquids that have 0 calories, like water, coffee, tea, and any other drinks with no caloric content. Just be sure that you drink your coffee or tea black, as adding sugar, milk, cream, caramel, or any other additions may null your fast, depending on how much you put in. As a general rule of thumb, it is easier to just have your beverages without any additions, although keto bulletproof coffee is also a great substitute. Many practitioners of intermittent fasting believe this diet method to be a secret to better health. However, believe it or not, human beings have practiced intermittent fasting all throughout human history. In many non-Western regions today, IF is still a normal and regular part of the culture and diet. Intermittent fasting makes us healthier and helps us lose weight by working with our blood glucose levels. When we eat, digestive enzymes break down the food in our gut into molecules that are small enough to enter our bloodstream. When we eat sugar or refined white carbs, these are easily broken down into glucose, which enters our bloodstream and energizes us. To allow for glucose to enter our cells, our body releases the hormone insulin from the pancreas. When we have excess glucose, insulin allows the extra glucose to be stored in our fat cells as fat. This is why we gain weight when we eat too much refined processed sugar. When you are in between meals, you will notice that you begin to feel weaker, slower, and even more jittery. This is a sign that your blood sugar level is going down. When our blood glucose level is low, our insulin levels also go down because we do not need insulin when we are not digesting food. If your insulin level goes too low, your body turns to burning fat to power you until it gets a new batch of glucose, which makes your insulin levels go back up. When you allow your insulin levels to go down for an extended amount of time, you burn through your fat cells and begin to lose weight. Intermittent fasting is designed to allow your insulin levels to go all the way down for a long enough period of time so that you trigger your body into burning fat for energy. The most important thing to remember is that although intermittent fasting may seem strange, it is much more normal and makes more sense to our brains and our bodies than the average Western diet and eating habits. A human from the year 1000 did not have the opportunity to eat an egg, cheese, and sausage breakfast with a few slices of white toast and a large sugar-filled orange juice. Likewise, it was not likely for humans in the past to constantly have the opportunity to snack or have food delivered with just a few taps of their finger. For much of human history, humans had to work extremely hard to be able to grow, raise, or find food. Despite all this hard work, fasting was a normal part of the human experience. Think of a farmer working hard during a drought to save his crops, with very little feed in his barn, or a caveman hunting for a boar for days before he manages to successfully kill one. Contrast this with the average human who stops for a fast food egg and sausage breakfast patty before work, then indulges in a donut at the office. For lunch, he may try to eat a healthy salad, but it is a colleague's birthday, and he is persuaded to indulge in a large serving of fat, sugar, and white carb-laden cake. He gets home late and tired, so he is too tired to cook. He cannot find a healthy takeout restaurant on his app, so he chooses the pizza meal combo with honey glazed chicken wings, a big bottle of Coke, 2 large fries, and a cheesecake for dessert. Ancient humans who fasted used up their fat reserves regularly, while the average human today adds more to their fat reserves consistently because they never stop eating for long enough. Even if you try to be healthy, the average dietary advice we were given, until recently, is that we must have breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day to be healthy. People who skip breakfast are often told they must change their habits to be healthier. Even worse, our breakfast usually consists of sugar-packed cereals or saturated fat and cholesterol-packed sausages, bacon, pancakes, and omelets. Even if you exercise regularly and are at a healthy weight, many people today are still being diagnosed with prediabetes, diabetes, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure because our meals and diets are wreaking havoc on our internal system. Intermittent fasting is, therefore, a way to return back to the diet system that your brain and body love and thrive on, keeping you healthy and, consequently, promoting a longer, fuller life. Chapter 2. Types of Intermittent Fasting. There are so many different ways to practice intermittent fasting, so there is a method for everyone. In this chapter, I will walk through different methods for fasting intermittently, ending with a section on how to choose the best method to meet your needs, your goals, your habits, and your body type, as well as your personality. By the end of this chapter, if you've chosen to try IF, you should feel that your IF plans have direction and form, and you should be excited to implement these new plans into your daily routine. The 16-8 method. The 16-8 method is one of the most popular methods among intermittent fasters. Essentially, you spend 16 hours within each day fasting, and the other 8 hours are your eating window. Most people try to choose their 8-hour eating window to be the times when they're primarily active. If you're a night person, feel free to make it a little later. Hold off eating during the daytime as much as possible, then break your fast around 1 or 2. Eat your meals during an 8-hour window with your last meal before 9 or 10 p.m. For morning people, you eat breakfast earlier, around 10 a.m., and stop food consumption by 6 p.m. The 16-8 method is an incredibly flexible method that works for many different kinds of people. It's even flexible once you decide to try a particular fasting to eating ratio. For example, if your body doesn't seem to like the 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. eating window, you can absolutely alter it the next day to suit your needs better. Maybe try waiting until later in the day for breakfast. Try what you need to do, as long as you're keeping to that 16 to 8 hour ratio. The 16 to 8 method does not need any type of exercise booster, but that's up to you. You will, however, see quicker weight loss and faster changes to your body if you add exercise to your fasting. With the 16-8 method, you can eat what you want as long as it is within your eating window. Nevertheless, this is not an opportunity to eat unhealthily during your eating window, as this will not just slow your weight loss and health progress, but it will also lead to health problems, since you are not feeding your digestive system with the macronutrients, fats, carbohydrates, fiber, and protein, and micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals that it needs to stay healthy, or you are feeding your body the wrong ratio of macronutrients. The 14-10 method. The 14-10 method is similar to the 16-8 method. Rather than fast for 16 hours, as in the 16 to 8 method, you fast for 14 hours. With this method, you can also eat what you want during those 10 hours, as long as it is within your eating window. You may also schedule your eating and fasting window at whatever time you choose during those 24 hours. Since the eating window is 2 hours longer, there is more time to eat and get in your calories and nutrients. As a result, the 14-10 method is often recommended for people who need more calories than the average person. This includes people who are much more active, whether through sports and exercise or because of their job. It is also a perfect method for you if you prefer to eat your meals later during the day, or you have to take certain medications at night or after food. In any case, if you are on any medication, you should make sure you speak to your doctor before beginning intermittent fasting. The 24 method. The 24 method is a much more intense intermittent fasting method. I would definitely not recommend this for beginners because your blood sugar can seriously plummet with this method. If your body is not used to fasting at all, it will be very difficult for you to achieve. The general rule of diet, health, and fitness is that if you start on too difficult a level, it will be too challenging for you and will demotivate you from continuing on your health path. The 24 method is also much more intense in terms of the practicalities of the eating window. If you are not used to fasting and eating windows, you may struggle to get all your calories and nutrients within 4 hours. What's more, your digestive system may be used to eating many meals during the day, causing stomach distress such as cramps, diarrhea, or constipation when you eat all your calories within a 4-hour window. To get all your calories and nutrients within the 4-hour window, you will need to eat either one very large meal and a few snacks, or 2 moderate-sized meals and a couple of snacks. It can be difficult to pack all this within 4 hours, especially if you become full after your large meal. Hence, people on the 20-4 method often lose more weight because they are not able to eat as many calories as they should. Alternatively, your blood sugar may drop so low that you end up overeating during the 4-hour window, thereby undoing the health benefits of your fast. The 24 method requires the supervision of a medical professional to ensure that you are getting enough nutrients and calories to stay healthy. After a while, however, your body, especially your digestive system, will get used to this system of eating, and you will find that you are able to eat enough calories and nutrients to keep your body healthy. The best thing to do is to ensure your meals and snacks are foods packed with healthy calories, macronutrients, and micronutrients. For example, nuts, brown rice, eggs, avocados, vegetables, and fruit. The warrior method. The warrior method shares a lot of similarities to the 24 method because you fast for 20 hours and have a 4-hour eating window. The difference between the two is that the outlook and mindset that you need to practice the warrior method, essentially the thought process behind the warrior method, is that in ancient times, the hunter coming home from stalking their prey or the warrior coming home from battle would really only get 1 meal each day. 1 meal would have to provide sustenance for the rest of the day, as well as recuperative energy from the ordeal and sustainable energy for the future. Therefore, on the warrior method, you will need to have 1 large meal during your 4-hour eating window filled with all the fats, proteins, and carbs that you need for the next 20 hours. Just like with the 24 method, the warrior method can be too intense since you need a lot of discipline and a high tolerance for challenging situations to get through it. You may find that you naturally have the mindset to be able to push through. If you are struggling, however, then it is best to revert to an easier fasting method. What's more, some people are not able to eat such a large and nutritious meal in one sitting, making the warrior method even more challenging for most. The 5-2 method. Popularized by Dr. Michael Mosley, the 5-2 method is a method popular among those who really want to see the effects of autophagy, as will be discussed in Chapter 3. Instead of having a fasting and eating window within each 24-hour time period, the 5-2 method asks that you fast for a full 24 hours, 2 consecutive days out of the week. During the other 5 days, you are free to eat, exercise, or diet as desired. But those other 2 days, which can be consecutive or scattered throughout the week, must be strictly fasting days. You should not do too much physical activity during the 2 days of fasting, as you will be consuming very little energy, whether fats or carbohydrates, during this period. During your 2 fasting days, you are allowed to consume about 500 calories a day for women and 600 calories for men, meaning that you are not really fasting as much as you are on a restricted intake. Eat, Stop, Eat, 24-hour method. The Eat, Stop, Eat, or 24-hour method is another option for people who want to have days on and off days between fasting and eating. It's a little less intense than the 5-2 method and is much more flexible for you, meaning that you can adjust it according to your needs. On the Eat, Stop, Eat method, you can fast whenever you want to and then go back to eating as normal. After a time period of 2 to 7 days, you return to another 24-hour fast. The Eat, Stop, Eat method is great because you can have breakfast in the morning and then eat again the very next day at breakfast time, after a period of 24 hours. You can also give your body and brain enough time to enjoy a normal eating pattern for up to 7 days before returning to another fast. This is another great benefit of the Eat, Stop, Eat method. Since you are not focused on how many hours or days you need to fast, it goes by more smoothly for you. Think of the difference between going out for a nice jog and having to train for a marathon. The pressure of performance and improvement can be a burden for you while training for a marathon. A nice job, however, does not put any mental pressure on you whatsoever. You are just doing it to enjoy yourself. At the same time, you will need to incorporate a healthy diet on the days when you are not fasting, as an unhealthy diet will undo all the healthy benefits of your 24-hour fasts. The Eat, Stop, Eat method is also perfect for people who exercise regularly, since you can be flexible with your fasting days, allowing you to exercise on the days when you are not fasting. Alternate day method. Similar to the warrior method, the alternate day fasting, ADF method, follows an ancient eating practice. In this method, you allow your body to go through a feast-famine routine. That is, you feast one day, then fast the next. If this is too difficult, you can fast for 1 day and feast for 2 days. Alternatively, you can fast and feast every other day, placing yourself on a calorie restriction of 500 calories or 20 to 50% of your daily caloric intake on fasting days. If you want to make it more challenging and take it further, you can eat only within a 12-hour period on your feast day, meaning that you continuously fast every 36 hours, then feast for the next 12 hours. The alternate day method follows similar ideas to the 5-2 method, the warrior method, and the Eat, Stop, Eat method. It is based on ancient eating practices where humans often had periods of fasting because they could not find any food or grow any food. This means that when food was available, they would feast to take in enough energy to last the next fasting period. Although we evolved to survive fast feast eating, it does come with its disadvantages, such as losing muscle mass and being very difficult to maintain. One advantage, however, is that it does help you lose weight. In fact, you will find that you tend to eat more on feast days than you would if you were not fasting. But this overeating will still not result in as much caloric intake as if you were not fasting altogether. It is also great if you exercise regularly and need a regular intake of glucose. As a more intense style of fasting, the alternate day method works particularly well if you are on an intense fitness regimen, like bodybuilders, and need more than the average daily amount of calories. Since you will have to fast or be on a caloric restriction, you are able to eat enough glucose, protein, fats, and other much-needed nutrients on feast days while still losing water weight on fast days. Hence, you can maintain a sculpted look while still being healthy and powering through your workouts. OMAD, 23-to-1 method. OMAD, 1 meal a day. Fasting includes eating 1 meal a day with a 1-hour eating window and a 23-hour fasting window. While fasting, you cannot consume any food or beverages with any calories. This means you can only drink water, tea, and coffee with no sugar, milk, or any other addition. You can, however, consume all your calories and nutrients within your 1-hour eating window. You can have your 1-hour window at any time, depending on what time best suits your needs. The OMAD fasting method is great for people who find that they exercise better and with more efficiency when they are in a fasting state. However, it is definitely not a great fasting method for beginners because it is so intense. Once you have become more accustomed to less intense fasting methods like the 14-10 method and moderate fasting methods like the 20-4 method, you can move on to more intense fasting methods like OMAD and the 5-2 method. What fasting method should I choose? The fasting method you choose is dependent on a few factors. What goals are you trying to achieve? Do you want to be more sculpted or to lose weight? Do you want to be healthier or live longer? How active are you and how intense is your physical activity? If you are very active, do you find that your physical activity is better in a fasting state or eating state? How challenging do you find fasting to be? Does your body work better when you eat 1 or more meals a day? Do you have enough time within your eating window to eat all the calories and nutrients you need? Does your lifestyle ask that you socialize around food and eating often? Are there other factors in your life that would prevent you from fasting intermittently? Do you have any dietary choices or restrictions that could prevent you from choosing 1 or more of the fasting methods listed? Do you have any illnesses, conditions, or medications that would benefit from a particular type of fasting or that would prevent you from fasting at all? At the same time, you have the option of switching fasting methods if the one you choose is not working for you. Remember to speak with your doctor, physician before starting a fasting method. Essentially, keep your eye on the prize and remember to choose what feels right and see what works from there. Lastly, your diet is of equal importance even when fasting. Even if your goal is just to lose weight, eating fast food or processed food during your eating window, eating days, even if on alternate days, will leave you with very bad health, even if you are losing weight. At the same time, it will negate all the positive benefits of intermittent fasting. Furthermore, it can still lead to unstable, very low blood sugar levels, which would make you eat too many calories and crave even more unhealthy food during your eating window. To prevent this cycle, it is best for you to cook healthy, unprocessed, and nutritious meals when intermittent fasting. Despite all the different types of intermittent fasting, you should not fast intermittently unless your doctor gives you the okay if you have type 1 or type 2 diabetes or other problems with your blood sugar. IF leads to low blood sugar, which is dangerous for people with diabetes. Likewise, you cannot fast intermittently if you are on a medication that affects your blood glucose levels. If you also have insulin resistance or any other health issues where you have to eat more than 500 calories per day, then intermittent fasting will put you in grave danger, even on a short-term basis. Have a history of crash dieting or eating disorders. You may not be able to handle IF psychologically if you are used to yo-yo dieting and crash dieting, or if you have a history of eating disorders. You may end up abusing IF to lose weight more speedily, leading to severe and prolonged health issues. See Chapter 7. Are anemic or underweight. Are pregnant or trying to get pregnant or are breastfeeding. Your baby needs plenty of nutrients, whether in the womb or after birth. Mothers' bodies are also often very tired because of the stress of carrying a baby and the hormonal changes that occur in the body during conception, pregnancy, and in the postpartum months. As a result, you need to eat regularly if this applies to you, to give your body all the macro and micronutrients it needs to stay healthy. Likewise, your body needs plenty of nutrients and energy if you are trying to conceive. If your body and brain sense that you are in fasting mode, your chances of conceiving lessen since your brain believes that your body will not be able to bear the extra stress of pregnancy. Breastfeeding mothers, likewise, pass on everything they eat to their babies. If you are not eating regularly, then you have no nutrients to pass on to your child, and you may stop lactating altogether. Are under the age of 18. Have intense levels of physical activity on a daily basis, for example, if you are an athlete or exercise intensely. Chapter 3. Benefits of intermittent fasting. The benefits of fasting can start to kick in once you have been fasting for a week or longer. One of the first benefits of intermittent fasting that you will notice is weight loss. After a few days or so, your body will begin to use up the stored glucose in your liver, called glycogen. When your body stores glycogen, it stores a lot of water too. Since you are burning through that glycogen, you no longer need that stored water either. This is why you will notice less bloating overall. Your face may look less puffy, and your stomach may look less bloated and full too. At the same time, you will notice that you are not overeating as much as you used to. Since you are spending so much time fasting, you simply have less time to eat and prepare food on a practical basis. Chapter 5 will teach you some meal hacks to help you eat nutritiously and healthily during your eating windows. With less time spent preparing meals and eating, you actually have time to reflect on your eating habits and the factors that lead to your overeating and poor food choices. Perhaps you may begin to notice how you snack at work when you feel overwhelmed, or you order takeout when you are too tired from the day to prepare a meal. As well as these more noticeable short-term benefits, intermittent fasting provides more long-term benefits than you may not notice in the short term. These benefits are incredible for your health and are a reason why intermittent fasting is increasingly gaining popularity. Changing your metabolism. When you fast intermittently, your metabolism begins to change. In fact, any changes to your health, diet, and fitness lifestyle changes your metabolism, either for better or for worse. For example, your metabolism may slow down if you stop running regularly. Similarly, intermittent fasting is known for boosting your metabolism. Your body is a complex but well-connected machine. Like any other machine, it needs breaks. Otherwise, it will get too tired to function properly. This is why we sleep. Intermittent fasting is a sort of sleep time for your digestive system. With so much food around us and with the advice that we eat 3 meals a day, we do not give our digestive system a break. We are constantly producing insulin, digesting food, spiking our blood sugar levels, etc. When you use IF, on the other hand, you give your digestive system a rest, allowing your body to get rid of impurities and to increase the number of metabolites in your body. Metabolites, a product of metabolism, are responsible for converting energy in our body. The more metabolites in your body, the quicker energy is converted from food, thereby increasing your metabolism. Drinking 2 cups of green tea a day may help you see increased fasting results, whether it be a faster metabolism or autophagy. Weight loss. As already mentioned, intermittent fasting is widely recognized for aiding weight loss. You are simply not able to eat as many calories as you normally would when using IF. This, of course, promotes weight loss. Other factors leading to weight loss include increased metabolism and having less time in the day to eat unhealthy meals, such as midday snacks or an after-dinner dessert. You can also increase weight loss by exercising regularly in conjunction with IF. This burns through your glucose levels quicker, allowing you more time in the day to burn fat. Increased energy levels. When you fast, your metabolism moves from being powered by glucose to being powered by fat. That is, you burn fat for energy just as you would on a keto diet. See Chapter 5. When your body burns fat for energy, you will begin to notice increased energy levels, more mental clarity, and a better mood. In some cases, it is possible that you may develop hypoglycemia, extremely low blood sugar, when you fast for a long time, for example, for 24 hours. To prevent hypoglycemia, eat a diet filled with healthy fats and proteins during your eating window, since fats and protein keep you feeling fuller for longer. A diet filled with healthy fats when using IF will give you increased energy levels. If you find that you are becoming hypoglycemic, even with this diet, then your metabolism may be too fast, in which case you will need to reconsider your fasting method to find the right one for you. Reduced inflammation. Inflammation is one of the greatest predictors of future illness and a shorter lifespan. Inflammation itself is your body's natural defense to illness or injury. That is why the area surrounding a wound feels inflamed, looks red, and hurts. When inflammation becomes long-term, chronic, or persistent, especially surrounding healthy tissue, it can easily lead to severe health problems, such as autoimmune disorders, cancer, arthritis, brain disorders, mental illness, lung disease, cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, metabolic disease, diabetes, neurodegenerative disease, and gastrointestinal disease. Evidently, these are all health problems that can be very dangerous to your health. Even more troubling, in many cases, you may not notice you are suffering from inflammation until it is too late, because you may not notice outward symptoms. Intermittent fasting is great because it increases levels of the protein galectin-3 in your body. High levels of galectin-3 control inflammation in your body and even improve metabolism and insulin sensitivity. In recent years, scientists have found that intermittent fasting reduces chances of developing cancer. Even more intriguing, those patients who fast intermittently during their cancer treatments see better results than those that don't. What's more, IF is potentially capable of decreasing chemotherapy-related toxicity and growth in chemotherapy patients. In other words, intermittent fasting transforms your body into an environment not conducive for cancer cells to thrive. Even better, it leaves major organs in your body free from inflammation, thereby preventing chronic disease and leading to a longer lifespan. Eat foods that fight inflammation to assist your body in reducing chronic inflammation. These include olive oil, fatty fish, leafy vegetables, fruits, and nuts. Avoid or reduce inflammation-causing foods, such as refined carbohydrates, fried food, red meat, sugar-sweetened beverages, and saturated fats, such as shortening, lard, and margarine. Boost your immune system. Another great benefit of reducing inflammation is that it boosts your immune system. IF prevents your body from producing too much of the protein cytokine. When you have too many cytokines in your body translates this as a need to increase its defense. It essentially goes into overdrive immune response, causing unnecessary inflammation. Likewise, IF increases autophagy, which leaves your cells in pristine condition to fight off any foreign pathogens that would have otherwise harmed you. Longer lifespan. Another way intermittent fasting improves your lifespan is by increasing antioxidant levels in your body. As already mentioned, intermittent fasting increases levels of metabolites in your body. Another function of metabolites is to maintain antioxidant activity in the body. This means IF helps to increase the levels of antioxidants in the body. Some scientists believe that intermittent fasting triggers a survival response in our bodies since our brains believe us to be starving. When your brain and body think you are starving, it causes oxidative stress, which can lead to free radical damage in your body. To keep you from the negative effects of free radicals, your body raises your levels of antioxidants. So, what are free radicals? Free radicals are naturally formed unstable molecules occurring in your body when you come into contact with outside triggers. Triggers can include pollution, food, exercise, the sun, stress, and so on. These are all unavoidable things in our daily lives that can trigger the formation of free radicals in our body. Antioxidants work to fight free radicals, reducing oxidative stress in our bodies. Oxidative stress, in turn, leads to chronic inflammation, leading to a whole host of health problems, including organ failure. Hence, increasing the level of antioxidants in your body is a great way to reduce your likelihood of chronic health problems, keeping you healthier for longer. You can also aid your body in increasing our antioxidant levels by eating antioxidant-rich foods, such as bananas, plantains, eggs, corn, leafy greens, sea vegetables, garlic, berries, and tomatoes. Autophagy. Autophagy may seem like a strange word, but it is very easy to understand. It is essentially your body's way of cleansing itself and getting rid of its impurities. It does so by going down to the cellular level to repair cell damage, remove any impurities and waste from your cells, and rejuvenate existing cells. Think of it as your body's way of giving your cells an extreme cellular makeover. Autophagy aims to leave all cells in your body in great working condition. Of course, if the cells in your body are in great condition, then so too are your organs, your systems, and your health. In essence, you look good and you feel good. Today, more than ever, we need autophagy. We are bombarded with triggers that cause free radical damage, from harsh UV rays from the sun to air pollution, microplastics in our food and water, stressful lifestyles, toxins and bad chemicals in everything around us, and our factory-made, factory-grown, and factory-processed chemically-laden foods. That means we have a higher level of damaged cells in our body that need to be made over. As a result, we age faster, and we feel and look unhealthy and get chronic illnesses, infections, and diseases much easier. IF-induced autophagy is a great strategy for retaining our health despite many unhealthy triggers around us. A 2005 study on rodents, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, found that prolonged dietary restriction increases the lifespan in rodents. Some evidence suggests that alternate day fasting may also prolong the lifespan. The study also found that prolonged dietary restriction, i.e. regular fasting, leads to reduced metabolic rate, reduced oxidative damage, altered neuroendocrine signaling, which prevents cancers and improves metabolism, and improved insulin sensitivity, which prevents the development of prediabetes, diabetes, and problems with blood sugar. The study also argues that although conclusive results are years away, many improvements in biomarkers of longevity, including reduced core temperature, resting metabolic rate, RMR, glucose, and insulin, have already been observed. Prolonged DR also alters the expression of many genes from skeletal muscle, brain, and liver, including genes involved in oxidative damage. In essence, intermittent fasting keeps us healthier for longer and keeps us from aging prematurely. Have you ever noticed that people who eat a lot of vegetables seem to just glow, don't seem to age at all, and have loads of energy? This is because the vegetables they eat reduce triggers that cause cell damage. Likewise, you will have noticed that people who avoid the sun often age much slower than those who are always in the sun. They also tend not to develop skin cancer, unlike people who are in the sun all the time. This again is because they avoid the cell damage caused by sun damage. Autophagy is a great way to repair cell damage when you cannot avoid free radicals and inflammation triggers in your everyday life. Biohacking. What can we deduce from intermittent fasting is that it allows us to practice biohacking. As its name suggests, biohacking is the process of hacking into your biological processes to make sure everything is functioning properly. You can biohack in many ways. For example, by following a specific diet or lifestyle. You can also biohack by eating the right types of food and taking the right types and dosages of supplements. Intermittent fasting, too, is a form of biohacking through its anti-inflammatory, antioxidative, and autophagic effects. IF helps you to take control of even minute processes in the body that make a big difference in your health, energy levels, weight, appearance, and so on. You live longer and healthier, and you look good doing it. You save money and time. Obviously, when you go on fast regularly, you save money and also time, since you no longer have to spend a lot of money or time buying or preparing meals. You can prepare meals in advance using the meal prep method described in Chapter 5, leaving you with more time to live your life and still enjoy delicious meals when you need to. Chapter 4: Free Goodwill. Intermittent fasting is a wonderful tribute to the power of the human body, an act of discipline, self-preservation, and even self-love. Intermittent fasting is a simple, scientific, and natural way of healing, fueling, and powering your body. Despite all these benefits, intermittent fasting still has a bad reputation among people. Think about it. When you first heard the phrase, you most likely focused on the word fasting. Truth be told, nobody wants to fast. It sounds miserable and like a lot of work. Who in their right mind wants to spend hours upon hours every day starving and unable to eat, especially with so many delicious and filling food options available to you? Of course, now you know that this is not how intermittent fasting works. Instead, this book has armed you with the facts and the science of intermittent fasting. The wonderful thing about knowing all the facts is that all the myths surrounding intermittent fasting are dispelled. You feel more knowledgeable and empowered to make IF decisions that will change your life for the better. As with all things health-wise, intermittent fasting works if you work with it. If you do it correctly, then you will reap all its great benefits. If you do it badly, then you will struggle to tap into its many benefits. This book has been a dream for me to write because it is an opportunity for me to share with others a way of eating that has changed my life and improved my health. On the other hand, I can't do so without the help of my loyal readers. I know that this book is a wonderful source of important information on intermittent fasting. I know because not only have I thoroughly researched the topic, but I have practiced fasting for many years. Still, what use is all this information if I cannot disperse it to all the people who need to hear it? As an author, I love to empower people. I love knowing that I enabled someone to make the right choices for their health so that they can live a longer, healthier, fitter, and happier life. With your support, I would love to continue to empower others to make healthy choices that benefit their present and future. If you would love to give others the opportunity to learn all the wonderful information this book teaches about intermittent fasting, then please leave an honest review. Your thoughts will encourage others, like yourself, to start on the right track with intermittent fasting. With your help, we can continue to dispel the many myths about IF and take back its reputation. We can go from intermittent fasting eliciting skepticism to eliciting curiosity and excitement for new beginnings. Therefore, if you would like to continue with me on this journey to bring the science of IF to everyone, leave this book an honest review and share it the next time your friend complains about being unable to lose weight or that they are feeling lethargic. Together, we can do our part to help others get healthier, lose weight, and increase their energy levels. Chapter 5: Meal Plan Hacks. As you have listened to in this book, intermittent fasting works to help you lose weight, increase energy levels, and slow aging because you are allowing yourself to use up all the extra glucose your body has stored from your meals. This then triggers processes in your body, see Chapter 3, that lead to better long-term and short-term health. The human body is so amazing that you can hack into these processes even on a calorie-restricted diet, as opposed to full-on fasting. Since the human body is eager to heal and to be healthier, it is only a matter of finding the right hack to trigger these healing processes. While intermittent fasting is one such hack, there are also other ways to make intermittent fasting much more powerful and potent, allowing you to enjoy even more benefits, both in quality and quantity. Here are a few meal plan hacks to improve your intermittent fasting. Follow the Mediterranean and/or keto diet. One of the greatest pitfalls of the intermittent diet is the food you do eat when you are not fasting. During your fasting window, your body is working extra hard to heal itself and to become healthier. So when you do fuel your body, you need to fuel it well. At the same time, when your body is hungry as a result of fasting, it triggers a fasting response. In the past, when we were hunter-gatherers and before we began farming and growing food for ourselves, food was often scarce. We could have found wild berries growing in the forest, or we may have been able to catch a wild boar for dinner. But after that, we may not have been able to find any food for another few days. As a result, our brains kept us alive by making us eat more calories than we needed at the time so that we could store the excess calories as fat for survival. You will notice that if you have not eaten for a few hours more than your body is used to, you feel ravenous. Where before you would only feel like eating a small bowl of spaghetti, you find that you end up cooking a much bigger portion than you can even finish. This response to fasting is not you being greedy. Rather, it is your brain overriding your usual cognitive function. Since it perceives that you are facing food scarcity because you are not eating as much as you usually eat, it tries to force you to eat more calories than you need. Your brain is essentially trying to keep you alive. This is also the reason why you begin to salivate at the thought of a greasy bucket of fried chicken when you are very hungry, whereas a light salad with a grilled chicken would do just fine to sustain you. Your brain wants to take in as many calories as possible to survive, so it makes you hungry for high-calorie, fat, and carb-dense foods. Of course, you cannot tell your brain that you are not starving, since it has evolved from many years to work a certain way, and you cannot override millennia of information gathering in your brain. Your only other alternative is to therefore eat foods that will keep you full and satiated for longer and that are calorie and macronutrient dense but still healthy. This way your brain is happy because it recognizes that you are eating foods you need to stay alive, and you are happy because your diet is healthy, as is your body. So since your brain makes you crave high-fat foods, you can replace a bucket of fried chicken with healthier fat sources like avocados, nuts, and olive oil. This is why the Mediterranean diet and the keto diet are among the best diets to follow while intermittent fasting. Mediterranean diet. You will have heard many nutritionists and dietitians rave about the Mediterranean diet. That is because it is one of the best diets in the world. According to Dr. Catherine D. McManus, the Mediterranean diet has been shown to reduce risk of heart disease, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, certain cancers, depression, and in older adults, a decreased risk of frailty, along with better mental and physical function. You will notice that these are all benefits that intermittent fasting also brings you. The Mediterranean diet is great because it is packed with healthy fats that keep you fuller than refined carbs, sugars, and unhealthy fats like vegetable oils and fried foods. Since they keep you fuller, you are less likely to snack on unhealthy foods between meals. The oils in this diet are also great for heart health and packed with omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, which have been proven to lower heart disease and its associated comorbidities. The Mediterranean diet is packed with foods like olive oil, avocado and avocado oil, plenty of fruits and vegetables, nuts, legumes, and whole grains, minimally processed foods, low quantities of cheese and yogurt, very low quantities of red meat, low quantities of red wine, moderate quantities of fish and poultry. Here are some meal plan hacks to introduce a Mediterranean diet into your meals during intermittent fasting. Replace oils and butter with virgin olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, or avocado oil. Keep packets, bottles of nuts, seeds in your kitchen to snack on or to toss in your salads to stay full for longer. You can also blend nuts and seeds packed with wonderful vitamins and minerals, for example, chia seeds and almonds, into your fruit and vegetable smoothies to leave you feeling fuller for longer. Olives are a great snack to have during your eating window. Like nuts and seeds, olives are a great snack because they require no preparation, which is perfect for IF methods that have a smaller eating window. Olives are packed with antioxidants, reducing inflammation and oxidative stress. They are also filled with omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids and polyphenols, which keep your brain healthy. In fact, olives and olive oil are great for regulating your appetite because they are packed with monounsaturated fatty acids, which stimulate the hormone cholecystokinin. Cholecystokinin is known for sending your brain the message that you are full and satiated. Eat a wide variety of fruits, vegetables, and legumes, aiming for at least 5 a day. This ensures you get all your essential micronutrients daily to keep healthy. Replace fruit juices and sugary beverages with healthy smoothies, preferably with 1 serving of fruits and 2 servings of leafy greens. This will give your body the sugar it craves, but in a more healthy form. Add a few tablespoons of olive oil to your salad instead of fatty processed dressings to keep you fuller and happier. Eat legumes like beans, chickpeas, and lentils at least every other day. They are very filling, full of nutrients, and will keep you feeling satiated more than 12 hours after your meal. Keto diet. The keto diet is another very popular diet that helps people successfully lose weight and stay healthy. As with intermittent fasting, the keto diet relies on burning fat to energize the body, rather than the established method of burning glucose, carbs and sugar, to power bodily processes. Likewise, the keto diet follows the same process of burning through your glucose and glucose stores so that your body begins to burn stored fat and you begin to lose weight as a result. Since both processes rely on the same mechanism to promote weight loss, the keto diet is often paired with intermittent fasting for those who want to see great results. One of the benefits of intermittent fasting is that you can follow any diet you want during your eating windows as long as it's healthy. On the keto diet, you barely eat any carbs or sugars, eating a diet consisting mainly of proteins and healthy fats. By feeding your body mostly fats, your body never has enough stores of glucose, so it turns to burning fat as a longer-term strategy. When your body burns fat, it releases ketones, which can then be used as a source of fuel to energize you. This is why it is known as a keto diet. You can see then why the keto diet is a great complement to intermittent fasting. When you fast intermittently without using keto, you break your fast with glucose, which then powers you during your next fasting window. Alternatively, if you want to burn even more fat in a healthy manner, you can use the keto diet to speed up weight loss and instead break your fast with a low-carb, high-fat meal. Even better, your energy levels on the keto diet stay the same as if you were eating a diet consisting of healthy carbohydrates. This is because the fats and proteins you eat daily energize you well enough, even with very limited glucose in your diet. You will be pleased to learn that the keto diet is quite similar to the Mediterranean diet because both are packed with healthy fats that are great for your heart, such as nuts, avocados, and olive oil, as well as high-protein, low-calorie meats such as fish, and high-fiber legumes and whole grains. The only difference between a keto diet and a Mediterranean diet is that you may have to reduce the quantity of dairy products that you consume so as to not overdose on your daily recommended fat intake. At the same time, with keto, you won't be able to drink alcohol, which is high in glucose, eat any processed foods, or eat too many high-sugar fruits, such as berries and bananas, or high-carb vegetables, such as beetroot or parsnips. Even so, the meal plan hacks for a Mediterranean diet work just as well for a keto diet. Our keto book titled Ketogenic Diet for Beginners, The Essential Guide to Rapid Weight Loss Using Intermittent Fasting, Low-Carb Recipes, Vegan and Vegetarian Techniques, and a Low-Budget 7-Day Meal Plan will help you with your shopping list and with a 7-day meal plan to start your journey. The most important things to remember on a keto diet are: you are getting 75% of your caloric intake from healthy fats, 20% from healthy protein sources, and 5% from healthy carbohydrate sources. You will need to meal plan meals regularly to ensure you have the right foods to eat. If not, you will end up eating a high glucose meal that will bring you out of ketosis, and you will return to burning glucose to fuel your body. When this happens, you will have to start over. Meal planning also prevents you from filling your daily recommended amount of proteins and fats with unhealthy sources, like fried food and saturated fats. Meal planning. Meal planning is simple. It is planning and preparing your meal before you actually need it. It is used by people who exercise often and need to meet a daily target for proteins, carbs, and fat from calories. It is also used by people who have very busy lifestyles and do not have time to spend cooking every day, nor do they want to waste money buying unhealthy takeout options regularly. Meal planning is also great for your wallet because buying food in bulk is much cheaper than buying the ingredients for one meal every single time you want to eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So, how do you meal plan? Simple. You make a plan of what you want to eat for the next week or the next few weeks. Then you prepare it ahead of time. serving it in batches, and refrigerating or freezing it for future meal times. Since you also get to store your meals per serving by portioning out each serving so that it gives you the exact amount of carbs, fat, and protein you need for that meal, you have less temptation to overeat. You can see why this works out great for intermittent fasting and the keto diet. If you are on a warrior diet, for example, and you need to eat 2,700 calories in one meal, a meal plan is a great way to ensure you get everything you need in one meal ready for your eating window. While fasting, it takes a lot of mental energy to prepare a meal every day at the end of your fasting window. If you know you only need to place your meal in the oven or air fryer, under the grill, or in the microwave, then that gives you the motivation to keep going. Cheat days. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Let's face it, eating steamed broccoli every day may be great for your health, but sometimes our bodies just crave a big slice of velvety, gooey chocolate cake. While it is important to be disciplined and say no most of the time, it is also just as important to indulge once in a while. Everyone needs rest once in a while, and our brains and bodies need a treat too. The truth about cheat days is that they are well-deserved days of relaxation for your brain more than they are for your body. To be disciplined with your diet and nutrition requires a lot of mental and emotional hard work. It means planning meals ahead of time, calculating how much of each food you need to eat, ensuring you have enough of the right food, cooking them the right way, remembering to take your lunch with you every day, saying no to cake or cookies at meetings, resisting the delicious aroma of a slice of pizza or the urge to ask for extra caramel sauce in your coffee. Yet you do it because the benefits are numerous and amazing, so it is worth it. Your brain, however, is like a computer. It is a machine that needs rest every once in a while if it is to continue to function well. So you must give your brain days of rest where it is not planning, resisting, remembering, and so on. These are known as cheat days, and they are popular in the health and fitness community for a reason. Who doesn't love a cheat day where you can order a pizza with extra cheese and then settle down for a nice moist carrot cake for dessert? Cheat days are like weekends for your brain and your body. You get to reset, have a break, be undisciplined, and charge yourself back up, ready to do it again on Monday. With cheat days, you are also more likely to follow your healthy diet and your fasting program because you indulge your body and brain in their need for unhealthy food once in a while. Remember that our brains and bodies have evolved to crave highly unhealthy foods. When you feed yourself highly unhealthy foods occasionally, you are telling your brain that there is plenty of food around you, so it does not need to go into survival mode. If your brain goes into survival mode, you will begin to crave only unhealthy foods. It may get to a point where you cannot focus on anything else because your brain is always thinking about food. This is a deliberate survival mechanism to make you eat something packed with calories, fats, carbs, and sugar. It is your brain's way of keeping you alive. Eventually, you will give in to this food madness triggered by your brain and will begin to binge on unhealthy foods, thereby wrecking any progress you made while fasting and following a healthy diet. Not listening to your body. While the benefits of intermittent fasting are wide-reaching, you still need to listen to what your body is saying. Every body is different, so what would work for you will not necessarily work for someone else. While one person may be able to fast during the warrior method with ease, you may find it incredibly difficult. You may even find that you suffer from negative side effects on one or more methods of IF. This could be headaches, fainting, extreme fatigue, low energy, lightheadedness, nausea, or anxiety. If you begin to experience negative side effects on intermittent fasting, stop fasting immediately and consult your doctor. Final words. You now have everything you need to unlock a new life. Where before there were just secrets you felt you could not access, now weight loss, increased energy, autophagy, and slow aging are all secrets you too can access. It is evidently the start of a new, better life for you as you chase better health, longer life, feeling great, and even looking good too. These are all the wonderful benefits that intermittent fasting can bring you. You may not have even heard of the phrase intermittent fasting before this book, or perhaps you did, but had no clue what it was all about. Perhaps you heard bits and pieces and were unsure if it was for you. This book has brought you all the essential knowledge you need to begin your journey into intermittent fasting. I want to assure you not to be scared or anxious about beginning this new journey. Whenever I mention intermittent fasting, people's first reaction is often skepticism. Fasting is very difficult. I can't do it. I want to encourage you that you can. All the information in this book has provided you with the information on how to practice intermittent fasting in a pain-free, hunger-free, and seamless way. Now you know what intermittent fasting is and how to practice it safely. You know the different forms of intermittent fasting, and you likely have an idea of which one is best for you and your needs. What's more, you know the different benefits you can expect from intermittent fasting, as well as great meal plan hacks to help you on your journey to great health. If you are on the keto diet, especially for any listeners who have just listened to my book, Ketogenic Diet for Beginners, The Essential Keto Guide to Rapid Weight Loss, using intermittent fasting, low-carb recipes, vegan and vegetarian techniques, and a low-budget 7-day meal plan, then you now have additional guidance on how to follow intermittent fasting while on a diet. This is the beginning of a new life for you, and I am delighted that you chose to start this journey with me. Remember that you can always come back to this book if you need a recap of information or if you just want some guidance during the process. If you have enjoyed this audiobook and you've learned about intermittent fasting and its benefits, an honest review is always appreciated and will help me reach new listeners just like you who struggle with weight loss. Thank yourself every day for choosing your health. You've got this. This has been Intermittent Fasting for Beginners. Discover secrets that men and women use to accelerate weight loss, increase energy levels, and slow aging. Includes autophagy, keto diet, and meal plan hacks. Written by Emily Costa. Narrated by Orlena Kane. Copyright year 2022 by Emily Costa. Production copyright year 2022 by Emily Costa. Ketogenic Diet for Beginners. The Essential Keto Guide to Rapid Weight Loss, using intermittent fasting, low-carb recipes, vegan and vegetarian techniques, and a low-budget 7-day meal plan. Written by Emily Costa. Narrated by Orlena Kane. Introduction. What exactly is the keto diet? Why does everyone seem to be so fascinated by it? Can it really be as wonderful as people say? Does it really work? You picked up this book because you want to know what the hype is all about. More importantly, you want to know if the keto diet will work for you. We all have struggled with our weight and our bodies. You may have tried many diets in the past, all to no avail. And although the gym is praised for being the best way to lose weight, many of us still struggle to see results in the gym. The truth is, the human body is far more complicated than we give it credit for. There is a science to losing weight and keeping the weight off. Many diets and fitness programs promise to help us get the weight off, but they most often fail. How many times have you seen a person boast about their new weight loss, only to watch them pack on the pounds once more and end up even bigger than their former size? If you are tired of quacks and get-thin-quick schemes, then this comprehensive guide for beginners is for you. In this book, you will learn essential facts about the keto diet. I will show you how the keto diet hacks into your biological processes to promote lasting weight loss. I will also bring you all the great benefits you can expect from the keto diet, as well as the main benefit of losing weight. Lastly, this book will kickstart you on your new journey into weight loss by bringing you a low-budget 7-day meal plan that is guaranteed to have you lose weight, be healthy, and look good in no time. If you are tired of being overweight, or if you have tried everything to lose fat in specific areas, then this book has all the answers you need. So get settled and prepare yourself for the next life-changing experience. Chapter 1. Resetting your body through keto and intermittent fasting. The keto diet is not a new invention, although, judging by its ever-growing popularity in recent years, you might think it is. What we do know is the keto diet was developed as early as 1924 by Dr. Russell Wilder, who used it to effectively treat epilepsy in his patients. Indeed, the concept of a low-carb, high-protein, and high-carb diet is not a new one. The first ever documented record of such a diet was in 776 BC. At the time, Olympic athletes used a keto diet to improve their athletic prowess and performance. Put simply, the keto diet is a much more natural diet for the human body than the traditional American diet consisting of simple white carbs, sugar, and unhealthy fats. On the keto diet, you eat very little carbohydrates or sugar. Instead of using carbohydrates and sugars, glucose, as its source of fuel, your body begins to use ketones. Ketones are a chemical that the body uses for energy when there is no glucose left in the body. They are a chemical byproduct produced when the liver begins burning fat. They are used as a short-term fuel supply by your body when glucose is not available. This is why the keto diet is not a long-term diet approach. Rather, it is an intermittent diet approach for long-term weight loss. You will have to go back to introducing smaller portions of carbohydrates to your system after a few months on keto, after which you can then begin the process of ketosis once again. Once your body begins to burn ketones continuously for a few days, it will automatically go into ketosis. When your body is in ketosis, you need less insulin because you are not ingesting any glucose. As a result, your body produces less insulin, reducing your insulin resistance in the process, as I will discuss further along in this chapter. The keto diet relies on very little carbohydrates and sugar, a moderate amount of proteins, and a high amount of fat. You cannot eat too much protein on this diet because the human body stores the energy from excess protein as sugar, glucose, thereby preventing or delaying you from achieving a state of ketosis. The keto diet is one of a few popular low-carb diets in the world. You may have heard of other low-carb diets, such as the Atkins diet and the paleo diet. However, the keto diet remains consistently the most popular of these diets because it allows a lot of room for you to eat delicious, tasty, and filling meals, and users see their weight drop off considerably while still being energized and well-nourished. The high fat and moderate carbohydrate requirement of the keto diet is a blessing because these two macronutrients are known for leaving you feeling full, satiated, and well-nourished. You may have noticed, for example, how eating a couple of hard-boiled eggs is enough to keep you feeling full for hours, despite how small they are. The high protein content in eggs explains it. Another wonderful benefit of the keto diet is that it allows you to consume most fruit and vegetables with your meals, as you will see in the handy meal plan included at the end of this book. This is a wonderful benefit because you can eat highly nutritious fruit and vegetables, many of which can be prepared in vegetarian and vegan styles. In essence, you don't have to worry about losing out on your nutrients, including your vitamins and minerals. Today, many of us overeat not necessarily because we are hungry, but because our bodies are craving the nutrients that they just can't get from processed, heavy-carb foods. And while it is not necessary, most keto dieters include intermittent dieting as part of their keto lifestyle. Don't be put off by its formal-sounding name. Intermittent fasting is simply regular fasting during a particular time window. Most people who intermittently fast follow the 16-8 fasting program that allows for users to eat within an 8-hour time window. Intermittent fasting works similarly to the keto diet, which is why they both work wonderfully when paired together. When you eat, your body breaks down the food to make glucose. Any excess glucose that you do not use is stored as fat in your body. Intermittent fasting gives your body enough time to use up the fat that it has stored from food before fueling your body with food once more. This is why intermittent fasting is such a great way to lose weight. It ensures that your body is not storing excess glucose or excess fat. You use it all up before new glucose is introduced into the body. Both intermittent fasting and the keto diet have one goal: to burn up fat in the body. When paired together, they work brilliantly well to speed up weight loss. So, what is the secret of intermittent fasting, IF? Why does it work so successfully in aiding weight loss? You will have noticed that there is a certain weight that your body seems to always revert back to, no matter how much you try to diet or exercise. When you eat foods rich in glucose, your liver releases insulin, a hormone that allows for glucose to enter your blood cells and energize you. If you eat too many refined carbohydrates or simple sugars at once, your body will have to produce excess insulin in one go. Like any other body part, your liver is a machine. Over time, if you overwork a machine, it will stop working properly. And like all machines, your liver also begins to settle into a pattern. If you introduce a pattern where you eat simple carbs and sugars every day, your liver will get used to producing a certain amount of insulin. If you are producing too much insulin consistently, you will become insulin resistant. That is, your body is not responding to insulin as it ought to. If your body produces insulin, but your cells are only half responding to that insulin, then you will feel only half as full as you should because some of that glucose is not penetrating your blood cells to energize you. Rather, it is simply being stored as fat. This then causes you to overeat just to feel full, causing you to gain weight. If left unchecked over a long period of time, insulin resistance leads to prediabetes and diabetes. When UIF, you allow your blood sugar levels to go down naturally. Rather than constantly overproducing insulin, you force your body to burn fat for fuel. The next time you then eat, your blood sugar levels won't climb as high as the last time. Over time, you are then able to break through your insulin resistance because your blood sugar levels remain at a consistently healthy rate. Intermittent fasting is the superhero that can repair insulin resistance. It resets these digestive mechanisms in your body, helping you to lose weight quickly and effectively. Consequently, when you fast intermittently, your keto diet works at optimal levels because your digestive system is also working at optimal levels. Apart from resetting your body, there are other amazing benefits of following the ketogenic diet, as will be discussed in the next chapter. Chapter 2. Benefits of the Keto Diet. For most of mankind's 2.8 million years on the planet, man has survived on mostly meat and plants. The advent of farming the land to produce grains and carbs, such as rice, potatoes, and wheat, is a relatively new one that began approximately 10,000 years ago when humans moved from being foragers to embracing agriculture. That means that for most of human history, humans have survived on a keto diet, relying on the proteins and fat from meat and the nutrients from plants. This in part explains why we all seem to struggle with our weights no matter how hard we try. Our bodies have evolved to be powered on a certain diet. However, with the introduction of agriculture and farms, we began to rely heavily on glucose to power our bodies. This over-reliance on glucose leads to massive weight gain, insulin resistance, inability to lose weight, and a host of other chronic health problems, including diabetes, cancer, hypertension, and even early death. When you are on the keto diet, you are guaranteed to reverse your body's addiction to glucose and begin to reset your digestive and central nervous systems back to their factory functions. At the same time, there are other benefits to following the keto diet. They are: reduces high blood pressure, reduces inflammation, a big cause of cancer and other chronic illnesses in the body, helps epilepsy patients by reducing the frequency of their epileptic attacks, reverses prediabetes and diabetes, improves symptoms of polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, reduces your blood pressure, reduces the fat in your liver, reduces cholesterol, clears up your skin, provides you with plenty of essential vitamins and minerals, improves mental clarity and day-to-day productivity, reduces hunger, severely reduces and prevents gas and bloating, improves your healing, cheap and easy to make recipes using fewer ingredients, uses no processed foods in its recipes, vastly improving your overall health, including brain, gut, organ, and skin health, improves general life expectancy. The keto diet is well known for helping people lose weight. You are no doubt listening to this book because you want to know the secrets of losing weight through keto. Once you begin to lose weight through this diet, you begin to see the benefits. The following benefits will also occur in your body. Significantly reduces your risk of heart disease and a stroke. Significantly reduces your risk of gallbladder disease. Reduces your risk of depression as well as reduces your symptoms of depression. Reduces your risk of complications if you become pregnant. Decreases sleep apnea. I am sure you are excited about these amazing health benefits. However, before you begin the keto diet, you must first ensure that you are medically able to follow it without any adverse effects on yourself. The best way to verify if you can do the keto diet is to visit your doctor. Your doctor will be able to assess your medical history to determine if you will be fine on the diet. For others, the keto diet is dangerous. Avoid the keto diet if you are or have pregnant and breastfeeding. A pregnant woman needs even more nutrients than normal, so limiting your diet as the keto diet does will cause complications for both you and your developing baby. Furthermore, you need 2,000 plus calories as a pregnant woman to power your body and to help your baby grow. It is difficult to meet this amount daily on the keto diet since it cuts out carbs, even healthy whole grain carbs, which contain plenty of calories. Breastfeeding mothers also need to eat as many nutrients each day as possible because those nutrients will pass from the mother onto the baby. The keto diet cuts out some fruits and vegetables, which can leave a breastfeeding mother and her baby deficient. Likewise, you need more calories than normal when you are breastfeeding to produce milk. On insulin. If you manage your diabetes by injecting yourself regularly with insulin, cutting out carbs significantly may lead to very low blood glucose levels, which could also lead to further health problems and complications. In this case, it is important that you speak with your doctor to determine the best way to begin the keto diet. A yo-yo dieter. You may not have the mental capacity to stick with the keto diet if you are used to yo-yo dieting and crash diets. The keto diet will only work if you stick with it long enough to achieve ketosis and to stay in a state of ketosis over a period of months. If you are used to dieting, giving up, then taking it back up, you will find it challenging to maintain a state of ketosis over a period of months. A family history of osteoporosis. Epileptic children who follow a keto diet have shown a greater risk of poor bone health. It is not understood why yet. However, it is best you avoid the keto diet for now if you have a family history, and therefore a greater chance of osteoporosis. IBS or other digestive problems. Since it cuts out whole wheat and most whole grains, the keto diet is low fiber. This can be detrimental if you have digestive problems, such as chronic constipation or IBS. You also need fiber to keep your gut microbiome fed. These are the healthy bacteria in your intestines that keep you physically and mentally healthy. If you are genetically prone to an unhealthy microbiome, then avoid the keto diet. Problems digesting fats. Some people have difficulty digesting fat. You can see how this would be a problem on a diet that is fat dependent. You will have problems digesting fats if you have had your gallbladder surgically removed, you have fatty liver disease, your liver does not produce enough bile to digest the fats you eat, you have blocked bile ducts causing congested bile. If your doctor thinks the keto diet will be helpful for you, they may be able to prescribe you nutrients that will enable you to digest and absorb fats. Chapter 3. How to go into ketosis. Have you ever seen the traditional food groups chart at your doctor's office? At the bottom, with the most grams, you have bread, rice, potatoes, and all sorts of carbs. Somewhere at the top, you have your butter, olive oil, and other fats. And just after carbs, you have your proteins and your meats. Dietitians today typically do not subscribe to this food chart. Some dietitians argue that vegetables and fruit should be at the bottom, comprising at least half of your plate. Others argue that protein is the most important micronutrient. As science continues to advance and doctors continue to study the human body, the science on diet continues, to change. One thing most doctors and scientists agree on, however, is that we do not need to eat as much carbs as we have been traditionally advised. On the keto diet, the food chart flips considerably. The fats take up the widest part of the pyramid, accounting for 75% of your caloric intake. Next comes protein, which makes up 20% of your caloric intake. Finally, there are carbohydrates, which account for just 5% of your caloric intake. That is equal to something as small as a slice of whole wheat toast. In some cases, some people get 70% of their caloric intake from fats and increase their caloric intake from carbs to 10%. That can seem frightening if you have spent your whole life loading up on pasta, rice, potatoes, pizzas, bread, and so on. But you do not need to fret or feel as though you cannot do it. Plenty of people live successful, healthy lives on the keto diet, even bodybuilders. If a bodybuilder can lift weights while fueling his workouts with just 5% calories from carbs, then you can do it too. Now that you know all the actual benefits of a keto diet, how do you actually know what is keto-friendly and what isn't? You will have seen people asking, is this keto-friendly? What does that even mean? A keto-friendly meal, food, will promote a state of ketosis. That means it follows the general 7-to-1 fats, proteins, carbs ratio. Fats, proteins, and carbohydrates are called macronutrients. They are the big food molecules from which your body gains energy. Not only that, they power all the processes in your body. If you don't eat protein, your muscles get weak. If you don't eat fats, you feel cold. Even your brain benefits from the fats in your diet. To determine if a food is keto-friendly, you must then count its macros. By counting its macros, you will know how much carbs, proteins, and fat it contains approximately. It is important to note that the keto diet calculates the net carbs of food rather than the overall carbs. If you have ever studied the nutritional information on a packet of food, you will notice that it sometimes lists how many carbs are in a serving and how much fiber is in part of those carbs. The net carbs is the number of carbs left after you subtract fiber from total carbs. So, why isn't fiber calculated as part of your daily carbs? Fiber is processed very differently in your body than simple carbohydrates. Fiber is also known as roughable because it is not broken down by your body to give you energy. Your body cannot digest fiber, so it does not trigger an insulin response. What triggers your insulin response is the net carbs mixed in with the fiber. As the fiber is broken down in your body, the carb molecules are freed up, promoting an insulin response. In a typical diet where a person is not trying to lose weight, it is recommended that you eat between 150 and 200 grams of carbohydrates a day. On a low-carb diet, a person will typically be consuming between 100 and 150 grams of carbohydrates a day. On a keto diet, this number typically decreases to between 15 and 30 grams of net carbohydrates daily, which is usually about 30 and 50 grams of total carbohydrates a day. Of course, these figures are based on an average amount of calories per day, 2,000 calories. Nonetheless, these figures will rise or decrease depending on how many calories a day you consume, how much physical activity you perform, your BMI, and other factors. On a keto diet, you will need to consume between 111 and 167 grams of fat a day on a 2,000 calorie diet. There is no set amount of protein to consume on a keto diet, just as there is no set amount of protein to consume on a regular diet. It all depends on your lifestyle, your weight, and other factors. If you need to repair muscle tissue, for example, if you work out a lot, or if you are going through illness or stress and need more protein, then you will need to adjust your protein intake too. If you are active, try to consume 1.8 to 2.7 grams of protein per kilogram of weight, or 0.82 to 1.23 grams of protein per pound of weight. Conversely, if you have a sedentary lifestyle, or if you are overweight, you will need to consume 1.2 to 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of weight, or 0.55 to 0.68. What is ketosis? Once you begin the keto diet, your body will very quickly begin to burn fat since it is no longer getting its normal supply of carbohydrates. For the first 3 to 4 days on the keto diet, your liver still has a store of glucose called glycogen with which it fuels your body. Once all this glycogen is used up, your body will need to find an alternative source of energy if it wants to power itself. Since there is now no longer any glucose in the body, your insulin level drops steeply. After all, your body does not need insulin anymore. The human body always has stored fat as a backup energy source to rely on in times of scarcity. Since you are feeding your body very little glucose, your body turns to its backup energy source. After day 3 or 4, your body begins to burn fat and power itself on the ketones released by this process. These ketones, like glucose, also accumulate in the bloodstream to power us. Therefore, you have officially achieved ketosis once this occurs. In fact, you will have achieved ketosis at one time or another in life. For instance, if you went through a period of many hours without eating, this is a mild form of ketosis. Even going to sleep with no dinner or with very little dinner will trigger mild ketosis as you sleep. So what happens when your body reaches ketosis on the keto diet? Naturally, your body prioritizes your brain. Without your brain, you cannot survive. So your body ensures to fuel it with enough fat and carbohydrates. Without the presence of carbs, your body begins to fuel your brain with ketones. This is why one of the symptoms of achieving ketosis is sudden mental clarity. At the same time, your body still needs carbs to survive. This is why you still eat a few carbs daily on the keto diet. This allows for a little insulin to still be produced daily. This, in turn, prevents excessive ketones from being produced in your body. Like anything else in the body, too many ketones can be detrimental to your body, so you must endeavor to follow the keto diet healthily, as will be discussed in Chapter 5. The little insulin in your body works well enough to prevent excessive ketones from being produced and accumulating in your bloodstream. When your body produces excessive and toxic levels of ketones, it is known as ketoacidosis. There are 3 types of ketones produced in the body. They are acetone, acetoacetate, and beta-hydroxybutyrate. When the concentration of these ketones reaches highly toxic levels, they can lead to life-threatening complications. However, the good news is that the limited amount of carbohydrates consumed each day is enough to prevent. Types of keto diet. There are 4 types of keto diets that you can follow, allowing you to modify your diet to meet your lifestyle, health, and exercise needs. They are 1. The standard keto diet. The standard keto diet is the diet described at the beginning of this chapter. It involves a system of consuming about 70% or 75% fat, 20% protein, and 10% or 5% carbs. In many instances, people on the standard keto diet fast intermittently daily from between 12 to 18 hours, eating only during a 12 to 6 hour window. 2. The targeted keto diet. The targeted keto diet is great for people who exercise a lot and feel like they need more carbohydrates to power their workouts. With the targeted keto diet, you can eat slightly more carbs before working out, allowing you to quickly burn through the glucose, using it up for exercise. This way, your body stays in ketosis and you continue to have enough energy for your workouts. This keto diet is great for people who participate in very high-intensity workouts, such as marathon runners. 3. The cyclical keto diet. The cyclical keto diet operates in a cycle, hence the name. It allows dieters to follow the standard keto diet for 5 days out of 7. During the other 2 days, you can consume carbohydrates as normal. This is another good diet for people who are able to quickly burn off the glucose so that they do not store any glycogen in the body, nor do they trigger the body to release a high amount of insulin. It is a great diet for people who work out a lot or play high-intensity sports regularly. 4. The high-protein keto diet. The high-protein keto diet is as its name suggests. On this keto diet, you up your protein intake from about 20 to 25% of your diet to about 30 to 35%. Consequently, you only take in about 60 to 65% of fat, although your carb intake stays the same, at about 5 to 10%. This is a great diet if you are just starting your journey on the keto diet and you find it overwhelming to eat a diet that consists of 75% fat. With the high-protein diet, you can ease into the keto diet by following a less intimidating version. Unfortunately, this does mean that you will struggle to enter ketosis and will find it practically impossible to stay in ketosis since the excess protein will be turned into glucose. Nonetheless, you can incorporate moderate to heavy exercise while on a high-protein diet. This will ensure that your body is using up the protein to repair and build up your muscles. In addition, any excess protein converted into glucose will also be burned up while you exercise. The high-protein keto diet should only be used as a starting point to get used to the keto diet. After a few weeks, you will need to swap to one of the other keto diet types if you want to remain in ketosis. Foods you can't eat on the keto diet. You will have to cut out the following foods from your diet to go into a state of ketosis. All starches, grains, such as quinoa and millet, and sugars. This includes anything that immediately turns into glucose once ingested. For example, carrots and other root and tuber vegetables that you may naturally consider to be healthy. That means that you must also avoid honey and all other syrups, which may be bad news if you love pancakes or waffles. If you love juice, sports drinks, or sugary sodas, then this is also bad news since juice metabolizes as glucose in the body. Most fruits, apart from handfuls of berries eaten at a time, fruits contain sugar which your body metabolizes into glucose just as it does carbs. Eating fruits can therefore delay or revert ketosis. Legumes such as lentils, chickpeas, and peas because they contain too much protein. Bad, unhealthy fats such as trans fats. Drinks or food with alcoholic content. Foods deliberately marketed as low-fat. For example, low-fat mayonnaise. On its own, mayonnaise is generally keto-friendly. However, low-fat mayonnaise, like other low-fat products, generally use less fat. Instead, other alternatives to give it its taste and consistency. This could be unhealthy fats or even sugar, both of which are not suitable for a keto diet. This is also why you cannot eat sugar-free foods on the keto diet. It is better to find keto-friendly alternatives to your favorite recipes than to try to cheat with low-sugar or sugar-free versions. Sugar-packed condiments, such as barbecue sauce, sweet chili sauce, or ketchup. Sweetened yogurt. Foods you can eat on the keto diet. On the keto diet, you are able to eat the following. Healthy and natural fats, such as avocados, nuts, olive oil, and coconut oil. Meats, fish, and eggs. High-fat natural dairy products, such as hard cheeses, butter, and high-fat cream. Berries, eaten in small quantities. Vegetables with low calories, such as broccoli, kale, bok choy, asparagus, spinach, and arugula. Seeds, such as sunflower seeds. Low-carb sweeteners, such as stevia, monk fruit, tagatose, inulin, and as you get used to calculating your carbs, proteins, and fats, you will find that you can still consume some of the foods on this list in low quantities. For example, depending on the amount of sugar per gram per serving, you may be able to get away with a tablespoon or two of ketchup if you avoid other carbs for the day. On the other hand, there is just no way to get away with even a small serving of fries because the amount of carbs it contains per serving will kick you out of ketosis. In addition to the carbs, protein, and fat per gram serving of a food, there are other things you must watch out for on the keto diet to verify that it is safe for consumption. Will it have a negative effect on your insulin levels? If you eat food with a high glycemic index, it will spike your blood sugar levels too high and too fast, triggering you out of a state of ketosis. The glycemic index shows how quickly the food you eat will spike your insulin levels. Foods with a high GI are considered very unhealthy. For instance, a slice of decadent chocolate cake has a very high GI. You could eat some berries, but if you do not control the portion, they will negatively impact your insulin levels. Will it have a negative effect on your biomarkers? That is, your cholesterol, blood pressure, triglycerides, and so on? While butter is great to consume on the keto diet, frying your vegetables in butter for every meal will soon quickly raise your cholesterol levels. You are on the keto diet because you want to be healthy. It is not an excuse to swap one unhealthy eating pattern for another one under the guise of healthy eating. Is it safe for consumption? Just because something is sold as food does not make it healthy and safe for your body. A bag of keto-friendly popcorn from the supermarket may help you meet your daily keto goals, but processed food is also shown by study after study to increase your chances of developing cancer. If it causes harmful side effects but is keto-friendly, it is best you do not consume it. Can it be cooked without turning it into something unhealthy or unsuitable for keto? Cooking some fat at high temperatures can sometimes release harmful toxins, for instance. Likewise, can it be cooked without it breaking down into high GI sugar? The fiber in a handful of berries reduces its GI when consumed. If you cook it at a high temperature, you break down the fibers, thereby increasing its glycemic index. Does it have any hidden source of carbs? It is easy to calculate the macronutrients in an avocado because it is nature-made. With man-made food, manufacturers are more likely to sneak carbs, sugars, salt, fat, and other bad ingredients into their food. What may be advertised as a simple chicken seasoning cube may have added sugar. Naturally, you do not expect chicken seasoning to have sugar, so you may easily miss this. Signs you are in ketosis. The following are signs that you are in ketosis. Keto flu, as discussed in Chapter 5. Losing weight. More physical energy. More mental clarity and focus. Problems with digestion. This lasts for a short while as your body adjusts to the new changes. It typically manifests in the form of constipation or diarrhea. Problems sleeping. This lasts a short while your body adjusts to the new diet. You may also feel extremely tired for a short while. Reduced appetite. You may find that you do not feel hungry for long periods between meals because you are consuming more fats and proteins. Bad breath. Acetones are a type of ketones that your body produces. Sometimes when your body creates too much ketones, it passes these excess ketones, including acetones, through your breath and your urine. Acetones are released with your breath after they mix with the air in your lungs first. This is also why keto dieters sometimes get the keto breath, a sweet, bad, and odd-smelling odor to their breath. Bad breath can also be caused by having too much protein in your diet. This happens when you are not getting enough fat, but rather are supplementing some of your fat intake with protein. This is why charting your macros is very important, as you will sometimes need to adjust it to meet your specific body and health needs. If you begin to get bad breath, it could be a sign that you are taking in too much protein than your body uses. When this occurs, your body expels the excess byproduct that is released when protein is broken down, ammonia. As with acetone, this is released through your urine and your breath. Finally, bad breath can occur because low-carb diets are notorious for causing dehydration. When your liver stores glycogen, it stores almost 3 or 4 times as much water as the glycogen itself. This is what causes water weight and what also makes you lose water weight when you deplete your stores of glycogen. On the keto diet, your body is not storing glycogen, so you are also not storing much water. You will need to compensate for this by drinking more water than you are used to. Why aren't I going into ketosis? If you haven't noticed any of the signs we've talked about, then you are not in ketosis. The best way to verify if you are in ketosis is to buy a ketosis test. There are standard tests that check the levels of ketones in your blood. You have the option to check the ketones in your urine, blood, or breath. Whichever method you use, your kit will come with a guideline to help you decipher whether or not you are in ketosis, just like most other test kits. If you choose to test the ketones in your urine, you will need to dip the test into your urine to see if you are in ketosis. Some varieties ask that you pee on the stick as you would a pregnancy test. The urine test is the most beginner-friendly, while also being the cheapest. It's very easy to use, giving you the results in a matter of seconds, although some take up to an hour. It works by measuring the amount of excess ketones in your body disposed through your urine. A blood test can be used if you have been on the keto diet for more than a few weeks, or if you simply just want to ensure a more accurate reading. Your body will start to become keto adaptive after a few weeks or months. This means that it is learning how to use ketones as a fuel source much more effectively. As a result, it will no longer pass out as much excess ketones in the urine as it once did. So a urine test would be inaccurate to determine if you are in ketosis. A blood test kit is more suitable in this instance. Actually, blood test kits are said to be the most accurate form of determining how much ketones are in your blood. If you are in ketosis, your test will read between 0.5 to 3.0 millimoles per liter. If you choose to test the ketones in your blood, you will need to also purchase a finger stick along with your blood ketone meter. You will use this stick to encourage a small amount of blood to flow to test your ketones. With the breath test kit, you simply breathe into the meter to find out if you are in ketosis. It is a very expensive way to find your keto levels, but it is very accurate. I would suggest a breath test for more advanced keto dieters, or if you want a test kit that will last you many years. Another advantage to the breath test kit is that you do not need to buy accompanying gadgets, like a finger stick. If you are in ketosis, the test will read between 80 and 40 parts per million. Anything below means that there aren't enough ketones being produced in your body, meaning you are not in ketosis. To get a more accurate reading of your ketone levels, do it just after you wake up, before you eat or drink anything, and before you even brush your teeth. This way you don't consume anything that could alter your test results. Alternatively, if you are not able to take a test first thing in the morning, take one after a fast of 12 to 14 hours, where you have consumed nothing but water during that time. If you want even more accurate results, take 2 keto tests daily, one in the morning and another at night. Since ketone levels are lower in the morning, an accompanying nighttime reading will help you find your average daily ketone levels. You may also use a keto tracking app to help you gather data on your ketone levels over a long period of time. Once you verify that you are still not in ketosis, then diagnosing why this is happening is your next step. There are a few common reasons why you are not going into ketosis. 1. Your macronutrients are not accurate. The first thing to note might be that you did in fact go into ketosis, but ate too many carbs and sugars, which reversed your ketosis in a matter of hours. Remember that consistency is key to entering and remaining in ketosis. If this is the case, then you might not be calculating your micronutrients properly and are consuming too many carbs and/or protein. Alternatively, you might be consuming the right amounts of carbs and protein, but not consuming enough fats. Keto enthusiasts find that using a food scale is a great way to accurately measure how much fats, proteins, and carbs they are consuming. Another way to verify the amount of macronutrients in your food is to purchase food that has very clear, detailed, and precise nutritional information. If you are purchasing food without nutritional information, such as fresh vegetables, then research its nutritional information properly to ensure accuracy. Do not be worried if you are struggling to balance your macronutrients. Rome was not built in a day, and you cannot master the science of keto without a few hiccups along the way. The more you practice, the more familiar it will become. You can also use an online nutrition tracker or a nutrition tracker app to get accurate macronutrients information. 2. You need more time. Secondly, if you aren't going into ketosis, it may simply be the case that you just need more time. Although the human body typically burns through its store of glycogen, stored glucose, in a matter of days, it can still often take between 3 to 6 weeks for some bodies to really get the message. When you are on the keto diet, you are telling your body to stop its usual metabolic process of burning glucose for energy. At this point, your metabolism, your gut, your brain, and all your organs and systems have become used to relying on glucose. It can take them a while to get used to being powered by ketones. Indeed, for some people, this process can take months. Allow your body time to adjust and use that time to perfectly balance your daily macronutrients. 3. Your body needs extra help. As discussed, your entire body has to get used to being powered on ketones. For some, this is a smooth transition, but for others, a little extra help might go a long way. Your digestive system is the important system in the ketosis process, in particular, your stomach and your intestines. These are the organs that will break down your food and absorb all macro and micronutrients. In some bodies, the process of digesting and absorbing fiber and fats can be more complicated. You can give your body some much-needed help along the way by eating foods naturally high in probiotics, healthy bacteria for your gut, and prebiotics, food to promote the growth of probiotics in your gut. You may also want to buy digestive enzymes to help you on your way to ketosis. You can purchase tablets that combine digestive enzymes, prebiotics, and probiotics together. If you have a history of yo-yo dieting, low-fat diets, and digestive issues, then this is most likely the reason why you are not going into ketosis. 4. You're stressed. Do not underestimate the effects of stress on your health and diet. Stress and the hormone produced as a natural reaction to stress, cortisol, are very powerful forces affecting every area of our body and our health. Likewise, it is very possible for high stress levels to keep your bodily processes imbalanced so that you do not go into ketosis. Hormones such as insulin play a very important role in our digestion. Cortisol is no different. The digestive system and the brain are directly linked. As a result, if you are stressed, your digestive system often does not work properly. This is why some people overeat when stressed while others stop eating altogether. It is easy to make yourself stressed thinking of all the ways in which you need to count your macronutrients and trying to plan your food shopping, etc. But it is okay to remind yourself that this is a way of life. It is not a temporary quick fix that needs to be done right the first time if you want to avoid failure. Rather, it is a learning process that gets better with experience. There is no need to rush or try to get it perfectly right the first time. Instead, approach the diet with a sense of adventure. For example, the meals you will be making are different, so you might be excited about trying something new. You might also be excited about how the keto diet will improve your workouts if you do exercise often, and how good you will begin to feel once you take charge of your life and health. This is a lifestyle change, not a quick fix scheme, so a slow and steady approach will benefit you more in the long term. Chapter 4. Free Goodwill. The keto diet can indeed seem like magic to many people. Here is a diet that leaves you feeling full, but still burns off the inches on your waist. You get to lose weight and still feel good? How great is that? However, not everyone believes in this magic yet. There is still a lot of skepticism about the keto diet among health-conscious readers. Some argue that it can lead to further complications for dieters, and this can't be further from the truth, as you will read in the next chapter. As with all things health-wise, the keto diet works if you work with it. If you do it correctly, then you will reap all its great benefits. If you do it badly, then you will struggle to tap into its many benefits. This book has been a dream for me to write because it is an opportunity for me to share with others a diet that has changed my life and improved my health. On the other hand, I can't do so without the help of my loyal readers. I know that this book is a wonderful source of important information on the keto diet. I know because not only have I thoroughly researched the topic, but I even lived on the diet for many years. Still, what use is all this information if I cannot disperse it to all the people who need to hear it? For those of us who have struggled with our weight and our health, we know how frustrating, tiring, and isolating it can be. And I'm sure you too would like to spread the word to others about the amazing benefits of the keto diet. If so, please leave an honest review of this book. your thoughts will encourage others like yourself to start on the track with the ketogenic diet. With your help, we can continue to dispel the many myths about this diet and take back its reputation. We can go from the keto diet eliciting skepticism to it eliciting curiosity and excitement for new beginnings. Therefore, if you would like to continue with me on this journey to bring the magic of keto to everyone, leave this book an honest review and share it the next time your friend complains about being unable to lose weight. Together, we can do our part to help others get healthier and lose weight. Chapter 5. Following a Healthy Keto Diet. As with every other diet, you need to follow the keto diet properly. Although it is a very healthy diet to follow, the keto diet can become unhealthy if you are not watchful of your eating pattern and choices. When you are on a diet, it is also easy to convince yourself that since you are technically on a diet, all your food choices are also technically okay. This is a big pitfall for anyone who begins the keto diet to lose weight and be healthy. In this chapter, you will learn how to safely follow the keto diet by adopting a healthy mindset and healthy nutrition. Do not overdo your fat consumption. One of the easiest ways to misuse the keto diet is to overdo your fat consumption. Since your diet consists of about 70% fat, it can be easy to convince yourself that eating hamburgers, chips, fries, and other unhealthy fats is fine. This is far from the truth. In fact, since the keto diet is made up mostly of fat, you need to make sure that your fat consumption is packed with healthy fats from healthy sources. A deep-fried chicken sandwich, fried in saturated vegetable oil, will affect your body in a very different manner than a baked chicken lightly drizzled with heart-healthy extra virgin olive oil. For some keto dieters, the temptation to use fat to overcompensate for taste can also be a problem. If you are used to eating carbs, you may find it challenging to get used to a new taste system that is not over-reliant on salt and glucose. For some keto dieters, this translates into consistently cooking foods in rich oils such as palm oil and butter. Unfortunately, an over-reliance on unhealthy fats and oils will soon increase your cholesterol levels, leading to health complications such as heart disease and high blood pressure. On the keto diet, you need to eat plenty of fiber, green leafy vegetables, fish, and lean meat. This will ensure that you're feeding your body with healthy micro and macronutrients. You also need to cook your legumes, lean meats, and fish in healthy ways. This includes air frying, baking, and grilling. Use cooking methods that require very little oil and very little frying. It may be difficult to get used to this system at first. After all, we live in a culture where unhealthy eating is normalized. We have become accustomed to cheap and widely available frozen unhealthy meals and takeout, whereas healthy food is still expensive and difficult to find. It may seem impossible to choose your health in this system of food distribution and preparation, but there is a way to change your mindset that will bring you happiness. All you need to do is to know the facts. Although overweight people and people with health issues are often portrayed as lazy people with no discipline, this is far from the truth. The truth is that our human brains evolved to reward us with dopamine when we eat unhealthy foods. Why? Because back when food was still a scarce resource, our bodies tried to gain as much fat as possible. As discussed earlier, our bodies rely on fat as a backup energy resource when food or glucose is not readily available. Since our brains did not know when we would next find food, it evolved to reward us for eating as much unhealthy food as possible when it is available. Fortunately for us, food is no longer a scarcity in many societies globally. Yet our brains still have not evolved to recognize this fact. It still believes food to be a scarcity. So it rewards you when you have a big, greasy hamburger with a sugar-packed cheesecake for dessert. It releases dopamine, making you feel good. Essentially, your brain is programmed to overeat unhealthy foods and overlook healthy food because it is stuck in survival mode. So, how do you break out of survival mode? Simple. You train your body and your brain to thrive on healthy food. When your body craves unhealthy fats, sugars, or excess glucose, you find an alternative healthy replacement. Furthermore, you practice consistency and discipline, feeding your brain good healthy meals. While it won't release much dopamine, it will make you feel good in the long term. Dopamine gives us a high. That means that it lasts a short time, leaving you scrambling for your next food high. When you consistently fuel your body with healthy foods that make you feel good without massive highs and lows, your body soon gets used to it. That is why people with healthy diets are physically and mentally unable to eat unhealthy foods. They have trained their body and minds into seeking out good food. Their brain recognizes that the triple bacon cheeseburger will wreak havoc to their internal system, so it makes them feel sick before even eating it. It is also why you feel very sick when you eat an unhealthy meal after weeks or months of being on a healthy diet. Eat plenty of fiber. Your body loves fiber. Fiber cleanses the colon, feeds your good bacteria, and leaves you feeling great mentally, emotionally, and physically. Here is what Michael Smith, ND, BHSC of Planet Naturopath in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, says about fiber and the keto diet. Too much fat and too little fiber cause diarrhea, and too much cheese brings on constipation. Not enough water will do that too, particularly in the early stages of the keto diet. Eat a balanced diet. Another reason to practice the keto diet healthily is to avoid nutrient deficiencies. One easy mistake that people on the keto diet make is to forego fruit from their diet, since fruits contain a lot of carbs. However, this can quickly lead to a nutrient deficiency, so you need to find recipes that allow you to incorporate fruits and vegetables into your diet. Don't forget, there are plenty of vegetables too that contain a lot of body-friendly nutrients. Kale, spinach, and beetroot, for example, are nutrient-packed super veggies that leave you energized while boosting your immune system. The great news is that many leafy vegetables have almost no carbs and can be added in bulk to your meals. Even root vegetables like garlic, turmeric, and ginger are nutrient-packed, as are most herbs. This is good news for you since you will be able to season your food with great herbs while still getting micronutrients from your meal and without coming out of ketosis. I will advise you to speak to your doctor or nutritionist about nutrients before embarking on the keto diet. That way you will be able to curate a diet based on specific vegetables and fruits. This is especially imperative since some of us need more of a particular nutrient than others. Keto flu. The keto flu is the dreaded illness that keto dieters get at the beginning stages of their diet. It is caused by chemical changes occurring in your body as you wean your body out of glucose reliance. As your body burns through its last stores of glycogen, it begins to expel more sodium than usual. This is also partly why you begin to lose water weight, because sodium causes our bodies to store extra water. As it expels all this sodium, you will begin to get headaches, fatigue, constipation, and even diarrhea. Not only does it flush out sodium from the body, but all this flushing results in toxins accumulating in your body, further exacerbating your flu-like symptoms. This may also include rashes, changes to your skin, and body aches. You will need to take good care of yourself during the keto flu, but it is no cause for concern. Symptoms of flu are common whenever you try to clean up your diet. You will feel better in a few days, especially if you take steps to heal. You should. 1. Eat keto-friendly foods during the flu. Don't be tempted to revert back to carbs to feel better. Keep only keto-friendly ingredients at home so you will not be tempted to cook or eat something that will bring you out of ketosis. If you do and decide to go back on the keto diet, you will suffer the symptoms of the flu a second time. 2. Drink plenty of water. It will help you flush out the sodium and the toxins much quicker through your urine and sweat. At the same time, you want to replenish your body of its electrolytes so your electrolyte levels do not fall to dangerous levels. 3. Eat more sodium. Eat a little bit more sodium than you normally would. In addition, drink bone broth, great food for improving your digestive system health and helping you heal faster. Chapter 6. Low budget 7-day meal plan. Now that you know all there is to know to start the keto diet, the biggest question is, how do you start? You know all about macros, net carbs, and insulin, but knowing and putting something into action are two different things. It can be a bit daunting to start sometimes, even when you are armed with all the knowledge you need. And rightfully so. You have to begin to calculate your macros, determine how much protein you need today, and so on. But let me reassure you that you have got this. Plenty of people start the keto diet every day and go on to love it. It is a very easy way of life and very easy to incorporate into your lifestyle. One recommendation would be to follow recipes that call for fresh ingredients rather than store-bought. Not only is it healthier in the long run, but it also frees up your time so that it is not spent at the supermarket constantly counting the macros on a jar of mayonnaise or determining which brand of pesto is the most keto-friendly. Alternatively, once you find a brand you like, stick to it to make your shopping easier, since you will be able to remember the macros of that particular brand. Check the nutritional information and the ingredients of your favorite brands from time to time, as brands sometimes quietly change up their ingredients. This ensures that you do not reverse your ketosis by accident. Don't fret nonetheless. Once you begin to shop for a keto diet, you will start to be able to easily count the macros on everyday keto food items, making it much easier for you. To kickstart you, here is a low-budget 7-day meal plan that anyone can follow. Best of all, it doesn't break the bank so that you can start the keto diet without having to splurge on expensive ingredients. You can make mistakes without worrying about the costs. Plus, these are simple, everyday recipes suitable for anyone. So, get cooking! Monday, breakfast. Sour cream and onion omelet. Simple, creamy, and cheesy, this omelet is packed full of protein and makes a great after-workout breakfast or a breakfast of champions to prepare for a busy day. In a large bowl, beat 3 large eggs, 1.5 ounces of onion thinly diced, 1 ounce of shredded hard cheese, 1.5 tablespoons of full-fat sour cream, salt, pepper, and any other herbs you might like. On medium-high heat, heat 1 teaspoon of butter or oil in a large frying pan. Pour in the egg mixture. Cook for 3 to 4 minutes or until the omelet is done to your taste. Plate and serve immediately. Lunch. Chicken jalapeno poppers. So easy to make and so tasty fresh out of the oven, these chicken jalapeno poppers will spice up any lunchtime. Cut half a chicken breast into 2 strips. Place a half slice of jalapeno pepper on each chicken strip, then wrap in a slice of bacon, placing on a greased baking tray with the folded ends down. Bake for 45 to 50 minutes or until chicken is done and bacon is crispy. Dinner. Baked chicken thighs. With almost all your protein intake for one day, this simple keto baked chicken thighs are impossibly amazing. Not only do they pack on protein, they are full of calories and baked in olive oil, giving you plenty of energy and good healthy fat to lovingly feed your body. Preheat the oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit or 230 degrees Celsius. Line 3 chicken thighs with the skin on a greased baking dish or tray, then season both sides with salt, black pepper, rosemary, and a half a lemon. Drizzle 1 tablespoon of olive oil or avocado oil, then bake for 40 to 45 minutes or until chicken is done and skin is crispy. Snack. Bulletproof coffee. Tuesday. Breakfast. Cheese and ham and egg muffin. These egg muffins are versatile since you can swap around the fillings to add more nutrients and flavor to your plate. Bacon, spinach, sausage, onions are all great additions that make a lovely combo, and you can make a big batch that will last you for days, freezing the rest for later. Mix 5 eggs together, then add a pinch of black pepper and salt. Add 1 teaspoon of parsley, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, and 1/2 cup of diced ham, and then pour evenly into a lined 6 muffin tin. Bake for 15 minutes or until fully cooked. Lunch. Buffalo chicken salad. Don't let the name buffalo chicken fool you. This is a highly nutritious and healthy meal packed with antioxidants, vegetables, and proteins. It is fresh, meaty, and packed with fiber, dispelling the notion that you can't get enough fiber from a keto diet. In a large bowl, add together 2 slices of cooked bacon, diced, 1 small chicken breast, 1 tablespoon of melted butter, half a red bell pepper, sliced, 1 tablespoon of hot sauce, 2 spring onions, diced, 1 cup of cherry tomatoes, sliced, half a medium avocado, sliced, half a head of romaine lettuce, sliced, and 2 tablespoons of ranch dressing. Toss and serve. Dinner. Baked wrapped cod. Pat dry 1 cod fillet, then sprinkle with the juice of 1/4 of a lemon. Season with salt and black pepper, then brush with 1 teaspoon of butter or olive oil. Wrap a slice of bacon around the cod, then bake at 400 degrees for 10 minutes, or until cod is ready. Snack. Keto chai latte. Wednesday. Breakfast. Pancakes. Keto pancakes are a quick, easy recipe to follow for a tasty breakfast. Packed with eggs and keto-friendly flours, they taste even more decadent if you serve them with some keto-friendly sausages. In a large bowl, mix half a cup of almond flour, 1/4 cup of almond flour, half teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon or nutmeg, and 1 tablespoon of low, no-calorie natural sweetener. Slowly whisk in 3 room temperature eggs, 1/8 of a cup of heavy whipping cream at room temperature, 1 tablespoon of melted butter, and half a teaspoon of good quality vanilla extract. Fry for 2 to 3 minutes on both sides in a lightly oiled frying pan or griddle over medium-high heat. Lunch. Salmon and avocado salad. This is a simple lunch packed with healthy proteins, fish oil, and avocado fat, leaving you full and happy until dinner time. You can easily prepare it in the morning, ready for lunchtime, at home, or on the go. Combine 1 tablespoon of olive oil, a few drops of stevia, 1/4 teaspoon of fresh lemon juice, half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar, and a pinch of salt and pepper into a food processor and mix. Toss 1 small avocado sliced, 1 small pack of fresh salad mix, 2 slices of smoked ham diced, and 1 small onion diced. Top with salad dressing and serve. Dinner. Grilled salmon. Drizzle 1 teaspoon of olive oil or avocado oil on a 2-ounce salmon fillet. Sprinkle black pepper and salt to season, then add half a clove of garlic minced. Grill for 5 to 7 minutes after searing for 2 minutes, flesh side down. Plate and serve. Snack. Bulletproof coffee. Thursday. Sour cream and onion omelet. Lunch. Chicken jalapeno poppers. Dinner. Baked chicken thighs. Snack. Keto chai latte. Friday. Cheese and ham and egg muffin. Lunch. Buffalo chicken salad. Dinner. Baked wrapped cod. Snack. Bulletproof coffee. Saturday. Breakfast. Pancakes. Lunch. Salmon and avocado salad. Dinner. Grilled salmon. Snack. Keto chai latte. Sunday. Breakfast. Sour cream and onion omelet. Lunch. Chicken jalapeno poppers. Dinner. Baked chicken thighs. Snack. Bulletproof coffee. Final words. You now have everything you need to begin your transformation. You must be very excited, and rightfully so. Who wouldn't be excited to experience rapid weight loss or to feel healthier, look good, and save money all at the same time? These are all wonderful benefits that the keto diet brings you. You may not have even heard of the word keto before this book, or perhaps you did, but had no clue what it was all about. Perhaps you had heard bits and pieces, and you were unsure if it was for you. This book has brought you all the essential knowledge you need to begin your journey into the keto diet. Now you know what ketosis is and how to check that you are in ketosis. You know the common reasons why you may not be in ketosis and all the pitfalls to avoid undoing ketosis. You understand how to train your brain to appreciate the keto diet, how to cultivate a healthy keto diet, and how to use intermittent fasting as a great tool to boost your keto results. Finally, you have a meal plan sample to kickstart your new life. If you enjoyed this audiobook and you've learned more about the keto diet and its benefits, an honest review is always appreciated and will help me reach new listeners just like you who struggle with weight loss. All I can say now is cheers to a new, healthier life. Although we may not be able to drink alcohol on the keto diet, we can toast with some bone broth, or better yet, a nice hot cup of bulletproof coffee. To new beginnings.